You set a boundary, and suddenly you're the narcissist. You ask for space, and now you're gaslighting them. You stand up for yourself, and somehow you become the toxic one. They watched a few psychology videos, learned therapy terms online, and now they use them like weapons. And honestly, it's one of the most dangerous manipulation tactics you'll ever experience. There's a disturbing trend happening right now. Toxic people are learning therapy language, not to heal, but to manipulate better. They use words like trauma, boundaries, gaslighting, and narcissism to avoid accountability and flip the blame onto you. You'll hear things like, "You're triggering my trauma." "You setting boundaries is actually controlling." "You calling me out is narcissistic." "You're gaslighting me because I don't remember it that way." And because these words sound intelligent and emotionally aware, people around you start wondering if maybe they're right. Suddenly, the actual toxic person looks healed, while you look unstable for reacting emotionally. That's called therapeutic weaponization. It's manipulation disguised as self-awareness. Why they do it? Why do they do this? Because it works. First, it redirects attention. The moment you confront their behavior, they flip the conversation and make you defend yourself instead. Now you're no longer talking about what they did. You're trying to prove you're not toxic. Second, it creates confusion. You start thinking, wait, maybe I am the problem. And once you begin doubting yourself, they gain control. Third, it makes them sound credible. To outsiders, they sound calm, self-aware, emotionally intelligent. Meanwhile, you look emotional and defensive. They weaponize healing language because most people can't tell the difference between real growth and manipulation. How to spot it? Here's how you know therapy language is being weaponized. Red flag number 1. They suddenly became an expert right after you started holding them accountable. The timing matters. Red flag number 2. They use therapy terms to avoid responsibility. Healthy communication sounds like, "I understand I hurt you." Weaponized therapy sounds like, "You triggered me, so my reaction is your fault." Red flag number 3. They diagnose you constantly, but never themselves. Everything is your attachment style, your toxicity, your issues, but somehow they never have patterns to work on. Red flag number 4. The labels don't match reality. They call you controlling for asking them not to yell. They call you manipulative for crying. They call you narcissistic for having needs. Red flag number 5. They use therapy speak to shut down conversations. "I won't engage with your toxicity. You're violating my boundaries." That's not accountability. That's an escape route. The damage. This kind of manipulation is deeply damaging because it makes you question your own reality. You start researching narcissism at 2 a.m., taking online quizzes, watching endless videos trying to figure out if you're secretly abusive. But here's the irony. People who are truly narcissistic rarely sit there terrified that they might be hurting others. The fact that you deeply question yourself is often proof that you actually care. And toxic people know this. They know self-doubt will consume you. Because once you start questioning yourself, you stop questioning them. That's why this tactic is so effective. It uses the language of healing to make you feel insane. How to respond? So what do? First, stop defending yourself against labels. Don't argue about whether you're a narcissist. Bring the conversation back to behavior. I'm talking about the fact that you screamed at me yesterday. Focus on actions, not labels. Second, recognize the pattern. Every time you bring up their behavior, somehow you become the problem. That's the pattern. Third, trust your body. Do you feel safe around them or constantly anxious and drained? Your nervous system notices things before your mind does. And finally, get perspective from someone qualified. A real therapist can help you separate manipulation from reality, because people who weaponize therapy language are usually not searching for truth. Here's the truth. People who are genuinely healing use therapy as a mirror, not a weapon. Real growth creates accountability. Real healing creates humility. If someone constantly talks about boundaries, self-awareness, and doing the work while making you feel confused, guilty, and crazy, pay attention to that contradiction. Their words and actions don't match. And that gap between what they say and what they do, that's where the truth lives. Trust that gap. It tells you everything.